guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for August 12th, 2018. So, my reading was kind of up and down this week. I think it really was because a Booktubeathon ended last week on Sunday, and I'll talk about all I read on Sunday. And I think after that, my mind was just like, I am not into this reading thing. And then work was busy because I was covering for somebody else who went to training for 3 days of the week. So it's not that I had a huge amount more to do at work. I just didn't get to take my breaks quite as easily, and so I didn't get to read. And there's at least one lunch, I went out to lunch with my mom and my grandmother who came to visit. And so, you know, there was other things too. So I just didn't read a whole lot during the week. But, I just think I needed a little break after reading so much for Booktubeathon. So if you haven't seen my vlogs, that's kind of where it was fun. Anyway, so I did really well. So I'm just going to talk about the things that I have finished this week, which are the things I did for Booktubeathon, and then everything else is kind of rereads and stuff I started, and some of it I stopped and I'm going to hold off on. So the first one on Sunday that I completed was The Lost Child of Litchford by Paul Cornell. This is the second book in the Witches of Litchford series. This was really fun. Again, it took me a little bit to get into it because it's been 11 months since I read the first one. I didn't realize it had been that long until I was like, why am I having trouble remembering things? Well, it was a while ago, but as soon as I got into it, I started to remember what I was, oops, I just kicked the thing, sorry. I started to remember what was going on, what they were like and stuff. And this is actually a pretty good one about a little lost boy, which like a little ghost. So that kind of starts the things off. And again, it has to do with an area where that's really close to the borders of other kind of dimensions, like the Fey world. And somebody is trying to change things. So this book was really good. I really am looking forward to picking up the third one. I have the first two in physical copy, and I'm not sure I want to pick up the third in physical or I'm going to go ebook, but at some point I am going to try to pick up that one. Then for Booktubeathon, still on the same day, I picked up This Census Taker by China Melville. This was a weird book. I still don't know what to think about half of what I read in this. I mean, it's not very long. I mean, I think it was 140 pages. Yeah, and again, he is the new weird, so it's a weird, like a world or a place where, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's from a boy's point of view when he's looking back on his life, on his childhood, and what happened with his parents. And there's so much you're just not sure what happened. I mean, even by the end, I'm still like, I don't get it. I would say I got about half of it. I would really like to figure out what actually happened in this book. This is one of those ones I don't know if I'll revisit because I didn't enjoy it. Like it's still his kind of thing. Like I like a lot of his books the 3 that I've read beyond this one. So I do want to read more of his stuff, as I said, but I think I get along better with novels just on the overall because I think I get more into it. I don't know, it didn't feel like enough. Like I felt like this was like a partial story. And I don't know if that's, if that was his intention or what, but I had trouble with parts of that. And then again, I said, not everything was really explained. And again, I don't need a, pretty little bow at the end, of a story, but there are some major questions that I'm still not quite sure if I missed a clue or something. And I felt kind of, well, that was bad. I mean, I did read this kind of fast, but I still read it. I still, took time to read it. So I don't know. Anyway, that was a weird one. And, I don't know. It was a weird one for me. And then my last book for Booktubeathon, I picked up Mary Stewart, and these are the 2 short stories that she has, The Wind Off the Small Isles and The Lost One. I loved The Wind Off the Small Isles. I thought that was so classic Mary Stewart. I really, really enjoyed that. And again, it's an exotic location, and the girl, well, she meets a guy, but it's like there's an adventure kind of in there, a little mystery, something historical in there sometimes. And it was a cute story. I really enjoyed the first one. The second one was kind of more of a just kind of an action clip kind of thing, kind of short story. I don't know, it wasn't quite as fun because it didn't have that romance element. Maybe that's because I just identify with her having that in there, even though that's not always the main point of the story. It's not the main point of any of her stories. But I like that part to her stories, is that they're kind of cute because they're, you know, of the time period they were mostly written in. These, again, both these were written in the 60s. One was published in 60 and one in 68. So, I mean, they're just, but, you know, I still think they're pretty classic. Like, you have to, there's only a few little things that you would notice were, you know, for that time period. But other than that, I thought it was really well done. I liked them both, and they were fast reads. And again, I had never read either short story. So that was cool. It was new to me. So that was the end of my Booktubeathon. So then Monday, I was like, I am not reading anything that makes my brain think. I was so tired because I had read those 3 short books in a day. And that was quite a bit of reading for me. So of course I went back to my reread of Archangel's Viper by Nalini Singh. It was just easy to pick this up and get back into this. So, as I said, it's book 10. Number 11 is coming out at the end of October. So, which is a horrible timing because, October will be Victober, so I'll be reading Victorian reads, and then NaNoWriMo starts on the 1st. And the book comes out on the 30th. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to have to, stop reading Victorian novels and read my, because I won't be able to hold off. And I want to make sure it's done before NaNoWriMo, so I don't have that issue. Don't know, we'll see what happens. Anyway, so I reread that, and of course I think they're fun stories. So again, as I said, one of my favorite authors. You'll see in a second again. So I did try to pick up another book that was on my TBR for Booktubeathon. It was on my coin toss, the one that didn't win. So I thought I would pick that up, and that's Pages for You by Sylvia Brownrigg. Now, I just couldn't read this right now. It's a really fat, I read the first 25 pages, I think Monday night, and I took this to work with me, and I just didn't want to read it. And I think it's just, how your brain just goes, I don't feel like reading. Well, I didn't feel like reading. So I set this down. I will go back to this. This is not a DNF in any way. I think it's just really, the subject matter is just not hitting me. It's about a college student who has a very strong reaction to her TA, and again, I'm pretty sure it blossoms into a romance of some sort, and then I think it all goes wrong in the end, I think is how this goes. But it was so hard to read, and again, I'm having trouble with 17-year-olds. She's 17, and I don't know. There's something with me in that age group right now. Just I'm having trouble with the writing. Maybe it's just, because again, I'm so far past that it's hard. But I will come back to this. It was written really well, and I do want to see what happens and how this plays out, because it is interesting that way. I just think this week was not the week to pick this up. So I put it back on my TV Red shelf. I didn't really count it. I mean, I counted those pages, but I'm not, as I said, I'm not DNFing. It's really just, this is not the time for that book, and I will come back to that. So, I think I did. So then I pulled out another Nalini Singh book to reread, because I didn't know what else to do. I was like, I don't know. Oh, you know what? I actually did read, okay, I don't have it here with me, sorry. I did read a short story. When I didn't read that at work, I couldn't get into it. I decided to read Extracurricular Activities by Yoon-Ha Lee, which is a short story taking place before the Machineries of Empire series. Again, it's a science fiction series, and it's just, I think it's fantastic. The 2 books are right there. Nine Fox Gambit and Raven Stratagem. I still have Revenant Gun to read. I'm kind of holding off. I know I should read it, but I'm like, it's the end. Anyway, so this story was a short story that had been out for a while, but I kept putting it off. I don't know why. And so finally because I was at work and I had to have something to read because I didn't want to read Pages for You. So I read that, and it was, it was only 55 pages long, and it was just a little short story about Jidao, and before when he was, when he was out of his academy and he was on an assignment. It was really cute, actually. I actually liked the way it went. It was like had all the action and it had a lot of humor, a lot more than I was expecting. And then it was really cute at the end. I enjoyed it. So anyway, so I forgot that I read that. So I did read a short story in between. But when I got home that night, I decided to pick up Nalini Singh. And again, I'm just reading this here and there as a read. I think this is book number 17. God, I've lost track of how many of these are. Anyway, it's one of my favorites of it. And again, I've reread this already once this year. Oh well, we're reading it again, just for fun. So, this is kind of, I'm just picking this up when I just want to pick something else other than the book that I'm reading. So, as I said, I did pick it up that night. So, but I did the next day decide to pick up 1984 by George Orwell. One of my friends contacted me and we were talking, and she told me, "Hey, I just bought all these books for my her new teenager, and who just turned 13." So she's like, "I got all these books, all the dystopian and the subversive," and we were talking about which ones because we went to college together. We were both English majors. Anyway, so. And she said she bought this one, and I said, "Oh, I need to read that still." And she's like, "Yeah, I haven't read it either." So we're picking up and reading this. So just for fun, So it's part of my dystopian project. I'm trying to read all the classic dystopians. I've read We and Brave New World in the last year and a half. So this is the other one I want to read in that series. So I only got about 80 pages into this by Friday. As I said, I just read it here and there. Not reading super fast this week, so this was kind of, but I'm hoping I don't have to explain this. It's about Big Brother and Winston, who is pretty much, it's showing him, he's just showing the world on how it's become in this scenario. And so far I'm fascinated and glad I'm finally reading this. We'll see how this goes. Again, I'm not really good with dystopians. They are not my jam. So we'll see how it goes. As I said, this is the best one so far that I've read, at least so far. As I said, I'm only 80 pages in, so I'm only 25% of the way through, so I still got a ways to go. But I had to set this down because I am going to be doing a buddy read this week. And this doesn't happen often, so we'll see how this goes. I'm reading Angle of Repose by Wallace Stegner. I didn't know anything about this. I guess it's a Pulitzer Prize winning book, and so and it has to do with a guy who is investigating his grandmother's life. So this is written published in 1970, I think, and talks about back in the 1800s, when like 1870s, when his at least in the first part I've read. So it's I think it's more talking about her life and the things that she went through and stuff. I don't know. So I said we're gonna see. So it's his journey, going through papers and figuring out what happened, and then we're getting her story through his eyes. So it's kind of different. It's a different narrative, and so far I'm enjoying it. I'm only about 70 pages in. So anyway, so I'm going to be reading this week as a buddy read with some other booktubers. So it'll be kind of fun. I'm kind of, it's just that I haven't done this before, so we'll see how it goes. So oh, and just to say, I wasn't gonna buy a copy of the book. I got it from the library. But I got so annoyed at the library's copy. It was not their fault, but somebody went in and had pencil marks through the narrative, and it was like they were correcting. I mean, it looks like notes that somebody had taken notes on it, but they were just like little marks and stuff about when they first talked about Angle of Repose, and it was kind of stupid. And then they started circling things that they looked like they thought were mistakes, like printed mistakes or the grammar was incorrect. And then I read them and I'm like, no, he wrote that right. What do you, so it got annoying. And I admit it, I happened to go by Pals yesterday when I went to see some of my friends, and we were close by at a Panera. And I went over to Pals, and they had a copy, so I just picked up a copy of my library book, and so I will continue on in this copy. It's just, that was just driving me crazy. I mean, I guess I don't like it when people, write in library books anyway. I'm really against that. I mean, I don't even like it when people erase. I don't like it that they've written in the book. Use little sticky notes. Anyway, but I just couldn't get, I couldn't get over it. And then the grammar was right. There was not a problem. Cat. Hey! Oh, of course, he's going after stuff on my desk. Sorry, that's typical. Anyway, so I'll be doing that this week. That's pretty much probably going to be mostly what I'm going to read this week. I don't have, I mean, backup-wise, again, I'm going to probably have this as my backup, as my just, like, fun read at the end of the night when I've read, we haven't figured out how many pages are reading it all, so I have no idea what's going on. And then I'll probably pick up this afterwards. As I said, I just set it down just because I didn't read fast enough before I wanted to start the Betty read, so we will do that. So that's kind of it. I don't think I'm going to get to anything else this week because this book is like 550 pages, about 540 something. So, you know, I think this is going to take me all week for me. So, anyway, that's it. I got to go get Cooper. And so, how's your guys' reading? I don't know. How's this whole buddy read thing gonna go? I hope I do okay. I don't know. It's my first Voxer experience and everything. It's all gonna be interesting. So we'll see how it goes. So, anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.